Welcome guys. Welcome back to Floating Lotus Online. We are going to work through another yin sequence today, and a couple of props that I am going to be using will be a bolster, so you're welcome to grab a big pillow or something that's quite firm that will support your body just to bring the earth a little closer towards you. And then I'm also going to be using a strap for some of my postures. This is quite optional for some of them. If you have a tie at home or a belt, something similar that can just kind of unravel, we're going to use it to grab onto the feet at some points, and I'm also going to use it to wrap around the hips. But obviously, if you don't have a yoga strap at home, wrapping it around the hips is completely optional and it's not really necessary. You will enjoy the pose with or without it. So feel free to grab the props that you would like to use today and meet me on the mat. Set up some nice relaxing music that you can play in the background. I'm going to set the bolster up behind me so that we can begin in a reclined butterfly pose. And so with the lower back facing the edge of the bolster, I'm going to bring the soles of the feet together, and if you don't have a yoga strap, you can just keep the feet together and drop the knees open wide. If you do have a strap or even a belt that is in fact big enough, you can take that prop down behind your lower back and wrap the strap over the tops of your thighs and underneath your feet, and then connect the strap together. So we're essentially creating a bound reclined butterfly. And once you have that secure, the strap secure, you can tighten or loosen it as much as you need, bringing the heels as close to the groin as you feel comfortable. And remember that as you recline back, it is going to tighten that sensation. So only take it as far as you feel comfortable, using the first few minutes to really adjust. And then when you're ready, come all the way down. Once you land on the bolster, you can open the arms out by your sides with the palms facing up. If that's a little strong through your shoulders, you can just bring the arms down by your sides, and you can plant the palms down. Let's take a few deep breaths. Notice the natural edges of your breath. Are you bringing tension into the breath, or are you allowing it to move smoothly? Begin to soften in the mask of your face, and let the back of the head melt heavily into the prop beneath you. You notice any patterns or lights flashing behind your eyelids? Or any sounds that exist around the atmosphere that is on your mat? Is the atmosphere that exists around your mat the same as the atmosphere that exists on your mat? And if it isn't, can you just observe how it's different? Allow the back of the tongue to soften inside the mouth. Spread through the outer corners of your eyes. And we're going to engage in a short pranayama, just to bring us a little deeper into this yin yogi breath. And so wherever you are in the breath, begin to exhale all the way out. And then slowly breathe in to your belly, to your ribs, and to your collarbone. As you exhale from the collarbone, from the ribs, from the belly. Inhale, spread your belly, open the ribs, fill the collarbones. Exhale from the collarbone to the ribs, to the belly. Inhale to the belly, ribs, collarbones. Exhale, collarbones, ribs, belly. Inhale, belly, ribs, collarbones. Exhale, collarbones, ribs, belly. Inhale. Exhale. Repeating this mantra internally to yourself. Inhale. Letting it become a little bit of a lullaby. Exhale. Take one more breath in. And out. Allow the shoulder blades to melt into the prop beneath you. And the shoulders soften. And then gently wriggle into the fingers and your toes. Create a smoothness with your breath as it remains deep in your body. And maybe you reach the arms back behind you if it feels okay through the shoulders. And then as you exhale, bring your hands down by your sides. And plant the palms and plant the elbows. Tuck your chin in towards the chest and gently press yourself up. And let's unlatch the strap and take it over your head so that it comes off your body. And then we're going to take the bolster off to the side for now. You're reclining all the way down onto the back. Make sure your strap stays within reach so that you can use it for this next pose. Once you land on the floor, you can place the soles of the feet on the mat, knees point straight up. And just allow a little bit of a curl to occur through the lower back. You can arch through the tail and then curl through the tail. And maybe you draw big circles within the hips. One more breath. And then coming back to center, locate your strap, or again, you can use a tie or a belt. We're just going to use this to kind of find a grip on the foot. And so unraveling the strap, bend your left knee in towards your belly, flex into your foot and place the strap over the ball of your foot. If this feels really tight for you here, then you can just hold here, keeping your grip nice and firm on the strap without the grip turning into a white knuckle grip. And close down through your eyes and soften into the back of your neck. If you'd like to come a little deeper and stretch into the hamstring, you can begin to extend the foot towards the sky. And if you can see me here, I have my grip quite high on the strap. If this becomes a little too much, you don't have to grip this high. You can actually bend into your elbows and plant the triceps on the ground. This doesn't have to be a really intense stretch. I actually even like to loop my hands around the strap a couple of times so that I don't actually have to grip onto the strap very hard. Begin to draw back through the ball of your foot, energizing the heel gently towards the ceiling, feeling how that flourishes energetic sensation down the back of your leg. Approaching the breath, let it be smooth on the way in, long on the way out. And if you're really tight in the hammies, you might have a significant bend in the knee. That's okay. Or maybe with each exhale, you're experimenting with extending the heel towards the sky a little bit more. Any yogis that would like to come a little deeper, you can experiment with lengthening your right leg out long to the end of your mat. Trying to keep both hips even to the earth. So feel if you're rolling a little more weight into one hip. See if you can keep that equal while extending out of your left hip socket towards your left heel. Locate your internal edge. If the edge feels really rough and jagged, can you smooth it over with your breath? Let go of stress in the shoulders. Allow softness to melt into the low belly. And for these last 5 breaths, if you'd like to really experiment with your own edge, on your exhale, you can gently begin to draw the foot a little further back towards your face, allowing that surrender of the exhalation to guide you. as you draw the foot back, see if you can extend the left side of your tailbone down towards the earth, creating this energetic separation. And then as you inhale, let the leg come back towards its center. And then bend back into your right knee. And taking both straps into your left hand. And then begin to float the foot out to the left side. Send your right knee out to the right side as a counterbalance. And begin to create a V shape with your inner thighs. We're only going to be here for 10 breaths. Again, you can rest your elbow on the ground so that you're not straining through the arm. And the foot doesn't have to come all the way down to the earth. As you can see, my foot is still quite elevated. Enjoy that spreading sensation through that inner thigh. Encourage a little bit of surrender and wait. Just taking 5 more breaths. And then inhale, encourage the leg back towards center as you zip the inner thighs back together. And then take both straps into your right hand. Extend your right leg along to the end of the mat. And we're going to drop the leg over to the right side. So you can lower the leg down to wherever feels comfortable. Maybe you're just landing the right elbow to the ground. Or maybe you're taking the leg all the way down towards the earth, or maybe you're letting it rest on your bolster or pillow. And again, we're only going to be here for 10 breaths, but see if you can take your left thumb and nestle it into your left hip crease, and just encourage that left hip down towards the end of your mat. And notice what happens through that left leg. If it feels okay, you can keep kind of like a pulling sensation through the right hand. So you're kind of drawing that foot towards the top of the mat while you're encouraging the hip towards the bottom of the mat. Long breaths in and out. Drinking in 5 more breaths. And then when you're ready, you can inhale, slowly support that leg back through center using your strap. And then gently bend into the knee, release the strap off to the side, and take a few little circles with the knee, noticing how the outer edges of your hip socket feel, whether they're smooth or maybe a little rough, clicking or cracking in some places. And then allow the left foot to land on the ground. Let's switch sides. Inhale, bring the right knee in. Taking your strap or your tie or your belt, whatever is nice and long that you can use. You might even like to just use a towel, placing it over the ball of your foot. Welcome to just remain here, holding onto the strap with the knee bent. And welcome to dive deep into the hamstring by extending the foot towards the ceiling. Drawing back through those toes and trying to energetically drive the heel towards the ceiling. Remember, if you have a bend in your right knee, that's okay. Encourage the hamstring open gently and slowly, not feeling like you need to rush. And gently monitoring the difference between both sides. Come back to the breath. Soften into your grip. And welcome to extend the left leg long to the end of the mat if that's available in your body. You really don't have to. Make sure that you're not scrunching into the inner eyebrows, smoothing out through the forehead. Back of the neck is soft, and the shoulders are gently descending. Notice what you feel. any areas that you can soften. Perhaps begin to experiment with the edge that you have found. Using a gentle curiosity rather than frustration. Allow it to be a flirtatious conversation. Take 5 more breaths. Maybe you're gently now and trying to pull the foot back towards your face, or if your knee is really significantly bent, maybe you're trying to lengthen into the knee just a little bit more. Using that surrender of the exhalation to guide you. And then as you inhale, let the leg travel back towards center. Bend into the left knee if you did extend the leg long. And then taking both straps into your right hand. And begin to drop open the legs, creating a V through the inner thighs. We're using that left knee to drop out to the side as a counterbalance, because we still want to keep the weight in both hips as even as possible. Try not to throw all your weight towards the right side. Again, you can land the right elbow on the ground, creating a little bit of a pedestal for the leg. Soften the back of your ribs down heavily into the earth. Just drawing in 8 more breaths. Perhaps you're beginning to draw the foot a little higher if it feels available. Softening into any resistance that is arising here, whether it be physical or mental. And then inhale, use the strap to guide the foot back to center. Zip the inner thighs back together. And then extend the left leg long. Take the strap into the left hand and then begin to dive the foot over to the opposite side, coming into your twist. And again, you don't have to let the foot land all the way on the ground. You can if you want to, but if you're really just wanting to let that stretch occur through the outer side of your hip and the outer side of your thigh, then keep the leg high. Or you can take your pillow or bolster underneath the leg and let it land on the bolster. Take your right thumb and plant it into your inner hip crease and begin to roll that hip crease back towards the earth and pressing down towards the bottom of your mat. So it's kind of like a roll back and down. Notice the sensations that flourish in the leg from that adjustment. 10 slow breaths. If you have a little more flexibility in the body, you can keep pulling that foot up towards the top of the mat while the hip is pressing down to the bottom of the mat. And when you make your way to the end of your 10 breaths, take your strap in both hands and guide that foot back to center. Let go of your makeshift strap and set it off to the side. Hug the knee in towards center. Just take a few little freestyle circles of the knee. One more breath, enjoying the sensation that massages into the lower back. Perfect. Then placing both soles of the feet on the ground, knees about hip distance apart. And again, come back to that little back and forward motion of the hips. Arching into the tailbone and tucking into the tailbone. And then when you're ready, you can bring the knees in towards your chest, roll towards your left-hand side, and slowly press yourself up to sitting. Once you come to a seated position, Just bring the soles of the feet together and drop the knees open wide. I'm going to grab onto the bolster here. There's a couple of options for you. If you like, you can take the bolster underneath the knees, which will help elevate the legs quite significantly and will help lengthen you into the lower back. If you'd like a little bit more support for the upper body, which is what I'm going to take today, you can take the bolster out long in front of you and use it like a big pillow or a leaning post as you come down. So take an inhale, gently lift the heart space upwards. And then as you exhale, slowly draw your heart towards the top of the mat, lengthening out of the lower back. You might like to take your forearms to your pillow or your bolster. Maybe you don't need a bolster at all and you just want to come completely down towards the feet, letting your body hang in space. That's fine as well. But remember, the purpose is to create a sense of ease, a sense of support so that the body can entirely let go. Utilizing the inhale to spread into the back of your body. And the exhale to melt into the front of your body. Moving back to that rhythmic breath. Soften deeply into your eyes and let the third eye center spread open. And maybe you even let your inner gaze shift towards your third eye center and just notice what is happening there. Allowing your grip on concentration to loosen. Let yourself just fall, physically and mentally. Taking 3 more breaths. And then allow your palms to ground down onto the mat. And then energize down into the hands so that you can slowly press yourself back up. Really take your time. And once you come up, just take any props that you were using off to the side. And let's make our way back down onto the spine. Extend the legs out long. And take your time to lie all the way down. Taking any little movements that feel comfortable, or perhaps staying in complete stillness. And then when you're ready, keeping the soles of the feet on the floor, we're going to lift into the hips and slide a supportive prop underneath the lower back. Whether this is a bolster for you or a couple of pillows stacked on top of one another, just so you get a little bit of elevation in the hips so that it comes a little bit higher than your heart space. If you really enjoy doing a supported bridge with a block, you can even use a block here. But just making sure that the prop supports the sacrum, the lower back. So it shouldn't be too high that it's up in the middle arch of your spine, and it shouldn't be so low that it's down covering your entire glutes. Let it be about halfway. A couple of options here for supported bridge. You might like to extend the arms above you and taking them out long, or maybe you just touch the fingertips together above your head. Maybe you just take the arms out by your sides with the palms facing up. And see if you can extend the base of your skull away from your shoulders. So it kind of creates this little tuck of the chin towards the chest. Yogi's choice, you're welcome to stay here with the feet on the ground, or you can experiment by lengthening the legs down towards the bottom of your mat, opening deeply through the front line of your body. If you are extending into the legs, then breathe deep all the way down towards your hips. Feeling it all open with the breath in and soften with the breath out. Trying not to press into the back of your head. Allowing the eye sockets to widen so that the eyes can really sink back. Allow any remaining thoughts to become background sound rather than your main focus. Encourage your focus to rest seated in the blackness behind your eyes, monitoring the depth and sensations of your breath. And as we bring it right back to basics, soothing any chaos that has been dancing in your mind this week. Let's encourage it back to a baseline. Back to a simple discipline. Allow yourself to take in 5 more breaths. With each exhale, see if you can let go a little more. As if the underside of your body is melting like butter onto the floor, spreading you out in all directions. And then when you're ready to slowly unwind, if you took the legs out long, gently bend into the knees and bring the feet back to the floor. Making sure that your arms travel back down by your sides. We're going to move in towards Shavasana. Gently press into the feet so that you lift the hips, and you can slide your support down underneath the knees if you like. Or you can take it out completely if you don't feel like you need it. Let the legs spread open and the heels tuck into the bottom corners of your mat. The toes gently fall away from each other, and you can take the arms back out by your sides, or you might like to place the hands gently over the lower belly. Palms facing down. Begin to reapproach stillness as you spread out here on the floor. Aware of the sensations swirling through the lower back. The awareness of the rise of your chest and the fall. Letting the cheeks soften away from the teeth. The jaw letting go of tension. And the third eye center spreads open. As you remain here in Shavasana, try to stay present. Trying not to drift away from the mat, but instead anchor yourself behind the eyelids and become that gatekeeper to the breath. You monitor and inspect every breath that comes in and you assess every breath that travels out, remaining vigilant, focused, but soft. I encourage you to remain here for as long as you can and for as long as you need, enjoying this atmosphere that you have generated upon your mat. And coming out only when you're ready and being sure to move slowly. Thank you so much for sharing this practice with me. Namaste.